The verse for the week is found in Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 8. And what nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day? In the same chapter of Deuteronomy chapter 4, there was an incident that was being reminded to the children of Israel. The incident of where they join pagan worship and go against God, practicing all the pagan worships that God has told them not to practice. But why is God so against all of these practices? What kind of practices were they practicing back then? Those who do not worship the God of Jehovah. Among them were the practices of putting old people to death. Senior citizens at the time were deemed to be as useless. So at a certain age, they will be either left alone to die or they'll be put to death. Mothers who lost their husbands would have to listen to their firstborn son, and often cruel acts will be measured upon the single mother. What is more to this? Is this only applies to senior citizens? No. Young children as well. Not only children to their parents, but parents to the children as well. The practices back then was so clouded with satanic influence that people would think if they were to send their child across the fire and the fire consumed their child, God's anger would be appeased. That God's anger would be no longer there. They have thought in their mind that God is a cruel God that desires blood. Human sacrifice, parents offering their own child as sacrificial offering. And in God's law, God says, honor thy father and thy mother. Thou shalt not kill. This law was to protect the children of Israel at the time, to prevent them from going into all those acts, to remind them that even though if their parents has reached a certain age, they would still have to honor them and take care of them, just like how God want the parents to look after their own children as they are young, to teach them step by step until they grow up, and not to offer them as sacrifices. What nation is there so great? Because there was a loving God who gives a good law to protect His people. Today, people are getting cold again. The coldness in the family can be felt at many times. Honor thy father and thy mother. Maybe there is not so much of putting the parents to death. It is not to that extreme. But unkind words is often spoke to parents that labor so hard for the goodness of their child. Thou shalt not kill. Not everyone thought of killing anybody. No one wants to be a murderer. They're not born to be a murderer. But each and every time when someone makes them angry, in their mind is all murderous thoughts. In their mind is anger. Video games is set out to teach young child to take the guns and shoot their enemy. And all of this is clouding the minds of the people once again. What nation is there so great that has statutes and judgment so righteous as all this law, which God has set for us? Let us stick to the laws of God. This is the safeguard to protect our minds, to honor our father and our mother, and to look after our children. Thank you.